Hey everybody, welcome back. More Tap Sports baseball content. I took a little break from the game, probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I burnt myself out on it a little bit one weekend. I just played a lot of games, and so I took a little week off. I was a little sick, so we're back, and I figured to commemorate being back, I would do a little bit of a team update, but I'm actually going to go a little bit more in depth than just kind of showing you my team. What I've done is I've created a little spreadsheet that I think I'm going to keep updating. I took the team that I had from my last video, the lineup that I had, and got all of their overalls and the player names, and then I've updated that to have who I have in the positions now. So we're going to kind of go through and see where my upgrades were and that sort of stuff, and we're just going to go through position by position, and at the end I'll show you guys how much my team has gotten better in the span of like 2 weeks of me playing the game very little and just kind of picking up some free packs to kind of show how much you can get and how much better your team can get, even if you're not playing for hours and hours and hours a day. So let's get started. All right, so first up on the list at catcher, it's Gary Sanchez. This is the card that I pulled a few weeks ago. I made a video about that, but it was my biggest pull at the time. It's the foil card. His max overall is 320. Come on, give me some good. The previous player that I had in there, which was from May 1st, so this is over 2 weeks ago, was actually Elias Diaz. I believe it was the like frozen or like ice packs. It was a pretty cool looking card. Though I will say this one is a little bit of a formality actually, because I had Sanchez on the team. I was using Diaz for those bonus games. So Diaz would have been a sub, but he was in my catcher spot. So there you go. Also, by the way, since the last time I've played, I've gone from gold all the way up to platinum 3. Yeah, if that doesn't show how many bonus games and stuff I was playing, I don't know what does. Okay, at first base, it's actually the same player that I had before, Josh Bell, who is a 315 overall. Really nothing to report there. And then at second base is probably somewhat of the biggest upgrade, yet also the smallest upgrade. I pulled this Brandon Lowe Icy Veins card, which I think was the same pack compilation that the Elias Diaz came in, who was a max 330. Now, previously in that video, I had Ozzy Albies, who was a max 325. So unfortunately, Ozzy Albies is currently in my DH spot because of that, but I'm not really complaining. It's still a bit of an upgrade, so I'm not going to complain about that. Third base, we still have Jose Ramirez, who's a 295. At this point, he's pretty clearly the low man on my team, though I will say I pulled him in the Player of the Week box on my birthday, and the card has my birthday on it. So hey, how about that? Keeping him around just for that. Never trading him in. This is the most recent acquisition that I have, and that's the shortstop, Isaiah Kiner Falefa? I don't know. I don't watch the... You know, I gotta say, I'm a baseball fan, but I pretty much only watch the Pirates. So a lot of these AL guys, I am particularly unfamiliar with. So I'm sorry, Isaiah, but I appreciate your card because you're a 335 overall. That's a pretty big upgrade from the last video when I think I had Andre Jimenez, who I think was like a 290 overall. So a pretty significant boost for that one. In left field, we have Josh Naylor, who is the same, 325 overall. And in right field, we have Juan Soto, who is a max 325 overall, also the same. The big difference is in center field, I have Jason Hayward, who is a max 325 overall as well. However, it's worth noting that the player that I had before, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., is still on my team as a sub. He is also a 325 overall. They're really, really similar. There's not like a whole lot of difference to them. I just have Hayward in there. There's really not a whole lot of difference to him. I think Gurriel is a righty and Hayward's a lefty, which is easier because I have a lot of lefties on my team. So when I do walk-off hero and target bash and a lot of those modes where you're cycling through players really quickly, the versus events, the club v club, it's easier whenever I have someone batting from the same side of the plate. And I don't know. I think it's just a mental thing, but it's just helpful to have someone hitting from the same side. So it's easier for me to keep track of that. But anyway, really not a huge difference. The Jason Hayward is in the Launchpad packs. Again, I didn't pull any of these packs. I think I just got them as free packs and I pulled them and I said, okay. So there we go. Like I said, we have Albies here in the DH spot, who is 325. It used to be Guillermo Heredia, who is now a sub, as you can see down there. There is Gurriel. And the guy that I happen to feel worst for is the final sub of my team, Adalberto Mondesi, shortstop. I pulled Mondesi like 3 or 4 days ago, and then like immediately pulled Isaiah. I'm just going to call him Isaiah because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Kiner Falefa? I don't know. I'm just going to call him Isaiah. He's a sub still. He's a max 315 overall, which is an upgrade over Kevin Newman, who I previously had there. And then the only other sub that I lost was Bryce Harper, 295. I think that was like the opening day pack. So I had him on the team for like well over a month. So obviously that worked out in my favor. Okay, switching to the pitching staff, which is where the biggest moves were made, and it's like really not even close. I'm just going to go through all the pitchers I have now. Hunter Green, who is max 330. Dane Dunning, who is max 325. German Marquez, who is max 325. Tyler Malley, 295. And Sandy Alcantara, 290. Tyler Malley was my number 2 starting pitcher. Really, he was the highest overall. And then Alcantara was my number 1 starting pitcher. He was the second highest overall. Point being is those guys are now my starting pitchers 4 and 5 in the rotation. So I got 3 new really good starting pitchers, which is awesome. It's bad news for Chris Bassett, Anthony DeSclafani, and Marcus Stroman. The really good news is that Stroman was like a 180 overall. He was just a 4-star base player. So that was a huge upgrade to get him out of the lineup. Pretty huge additions to the team on the starting pitching staff. I also got Jorge Alcala in the long reliever slot. That was where Michael Lorenzen was, though I do still have Michael Lorenzen on the team. He is my second relief pitcher who replaces Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz was another base player, so he ended up getting moved out. And the only base player that still remains on my team is Emmanuel Clace, who is a max 287 overall. I technically have a higher one in Joe Jimenez, who's 290, but I just don't think it's really worth it to upgrade for 3 more max overall points I'm probably not even going to ever see. My setup man is Michael Fulmer, who is new. It used to be Spencer Strider, who was a 290 overall max, and Fulmer is a 325 overall max. Again, he was from those launch pad boxes. I really wasn't playing. I just was pulling the boxes and got him. And my closer, Jordan Romano, is still the same as well, 325 max overall. So a couple of big boosts, a couple of small boosts, but in the end, from about 2 weeks ago, not playing the game a ton, my team got a boost of 460 max overall points, which is pretty substantial. I mean, if you divvy that out, there's 10 pitchers, 9 hitters plus 3 subs, 22 players. So, I mean, that's like an average of like 20 overall points per position, and I was able to keep a lot of the same players. So I would say that's pretty substantial, and I'm very, very happy to see that kind of growth on my team. And I didn't even have to do a ton. I just got a lot of those free packs they give you. Turn your notifications on because it can be really, really helpful. My team has really been upgraded, and I really don't have any complaints about any of the guys in my lineup at this point. But I just wanted to give you a chance to, run through my team and see that sort of progression without even playing the game a lot. So I appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to click on the cards at the end screen to watch a couple more videos from my channel. And of course, you can subscribe if you'd like to as well. I'll be playing this game more and more. Hopefully, I'll be keeping the content ramped up here moving forward. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Love yourself today.